If you're broke, your mama broke, your daddy broke, and your kids are broke, this video is for you. Okay, friends, so I spent $7,000 in 30 seconds. Let me tell you all what I did. Y'all know I love a good story time or backstory time, whatever. If you are like me or look like me, many of you may not have had the best financial upbringing. You probably were not financially educated and you just don't know certain things that other people may know. And that's okay. It's a reason for that. And we're not going to get into it on this video. But if you've been following me a while, you know I love holistic health. I love all things health, whether that's the body, the mind, body, spirit, financial health, social health. All of it matters. It's all connected. Have y'all seen that show Manifest? When they be like, it's all connected? I love that show. But again, it's all connected. And if you're struggling in one area of your life, I can guarantee you're struggling in other areas of your life. Not saying that people don't go through financial hardships, but you really gotta take a deep dive into your overall health. And that includes your finances. So I'm not a financial advisor. However, I've been studying things like that. And I just want to share with you all what I've did. So getting back to just life in general. So if you're like me, you grew up and you didn't have the financial education. We just didn't have that. It was a struggle growing up. Not saying that we were poor. We were not on the streets. You know, we always had a roof over our head, lights, food on the table. We never knew when anything was going wrong. And again, things have changed over the years as far as the financial component of everything. However, what I've started to study and learn about financial literacy, financial education, just all things financial, and I've dived deep into learning about it. And I've honestly started to implement the things that people who don't look like me, what they're doing. And I've seen how it's changed my life, okay? Now, one thing that many people do when it comes to having money or being rich, being wealthy, many people who look like me get it twisted and they see a designer bag. They see a bust down 30-inch to the butt, you know what I mean? They see this car they're driving. Don't get that confused with riches versus wealth. There is a difference, okay? Take some time out. I'm going to give you all some homework to do at the end of this video, so stay tuned. If you're trying to make money, have wealth, when you retire, have a bag, please stay until the end of the video because I'm going to give you all some homework, okay? So, again, don't get it confused when you see people on social media living a certain way. Their whole ideology of the wealthy man wearing just a plain basic t-shirt, some khaki pants, and some nice sneakers versus, you know, those people who have the big chains, all the jewelry, designer down. You know what I mean? In all actuality, a lot of people go broke trying to impress the next person. That's not healthy. That's not what we're doing, okay? We're all about healthy living, okay? Especially when it comes to our money. As I began to study, again, I started to implement these different things into my life. So what I did was I opened up an account. And I'm going to tell y'all what account I opened up. Just hold on, okay? So the very first thing I did in the beginning of my journey, and we're gonna get to me spending the money, okay? But the very first thing I did was open up an account, my Roth IRA. Now, get a notebook, get a pencil, take some notes. I'm not gonna break down all the technicalities of what a Roth IRA is. Go on TikTok, get on YouTube, go do your own research, honey. Go do your own research. But just giving you a broad overview. I opened up an IRA account, the traditional Roth IRA account. And what I did was I added money to the account. So think about a bank and you put some money into a bank. This money I added, my contributions to my IRA was a lot of money. To me, $7 grand is a lot of money. And it's best for you to max that amount out every single year. For those of you who want a more in-depth amount, that's roughly about $583 and some change per month. But what you're going to do is, if you are one who cannot put the whole $7,000 into the account, it's okay. If you can do monthly $583 and some change, that's going to work as well. But if you're just one who can't do that and all you can afford is $10, I don't care if it's $5. Just make sure you open up the account and put some money into the account, or you're going to be broke. When it's time to retire, and no shade to anyone, but when it's time to retire, you don't want to be that person who has to go and work at Walmart because you ain't got no money and you're living off disability, Social Security, or whatever. You already eating poor. Now you mean to tell me you ain't got no money to live? You've been working all your life, now you can't live? You see, this is why I go so hard, because I think about life as a whole. I digress. So do your very best to max out this contribution of $7,000 per year. Again, if you can't do it, cool. That's all right. But do your very best. If you're sitting up there eating Burger King, Bojangles, Chick-fil-A, ba-da-ba-ba-ba, I'm loving it. If y'all are going out there eating that kind of stuff every single day, that stuff adds up. I know it does. It really affects the budget. If you're going to the club every single weekend, that's going to add up. If you're going to the strip club every weekend, throwing them dollars, fives, tens, 100, throwing those bills, that's a problem if you ain't maxed out the IRA, okay? So it's very, very, very important for you to start prioritizing your life, getting things in check, and looking at that budget, okay? Because again, all of this is health. It's holistic health. Financial health is important. Y'all gonna hear me keep saying that to y'all, okay? Okay. Once you add your contributions, which is your money, you got the bank, you're going to take your money, add it to the bank, right? You have Fidelity, which is a brokerage, right? You can add your money to Fidelity, Vanguard, or Charles Schwab, I think it's called. I personally use Fidelity, but you're going to do research and find a brokerage. You're going to take your money from your credit union that you use, where your money hit your direct deposit, right? Where your direct deposit hits, you're going to move that money to another account, which is the IRA, the different bank, right? Once you move your money there, you need to make your contribution of $7,000 within the year, right? You have, I don't know how long you have, but try to get the money in there at the beginning of each year. That's my advice to you, right? Put that money in there. Once you get that money in there, then you need to invest the money. That's the most important thing I've learned. You can have money just sitting for years and years and years, and it's not producing any interest, or it's not producing any money for you. So you need to make sure you do your research and invest that $7,000, or if you only put $100 to your account, invest that money into an actual EFT, right? And over time, your money grows and grows and grows and grows. Okay? Do not leave your money sitting in a traditional savings account where you're not collecting any interest. That's the dumbest thing you can do. That's the dumbest thing I've ever did. I can have thousands and thousands sitting in the bank and it's not making me no money. I know you've heard before, my money works for me. With that being said, do not have your money just sitting and it's not collecting any money, any interest on top of that. That's silly, okay? So that's why it's important. We'll talk about that another time, but you need to also have a high yield savings account. But again, we'll talk about that another time. The actual investment, or the actual way I like to invest my money, again, I'm not a financial advisor, but I do put my money into VOO. And as you do more and more research, you'll understand what all that means. But that's where I've been putting my money. And again, the way I did my research, I looked at some of the top successful people who show proof of their money, their riches, their wealth, and I just kind of followed the steps that they are taking. And I have seen my money grow a lot. Every year you need to do this. Every year you need to find a way to max out your contributions for the next, 20, 30 years. Now that sounds scary. But you know what's even scarier? Being 60, 70 years old, trying to make ends meet. Your partner probably done passed away. You all alone living in the house, and now you have nothing. You're left in this crazy world that's evolving and changing. Things are just going up, up, up. But yet you have no money. You're broke. All because you wanted to impress somebody. All because you wanted to eat like a buffoon and just eat, eat, eat. You know what I mean? So the way I spent $7,000 in 30 seconds was by putting it into my IRA account and investing that money. That's how I did it. Now I have some homework for each of you who've made it this far. If you already have an IRA, good for you. I'm proud. I was late to the party, okay? But if you don't, I really need you to do some research, because it's important for you to win. Yes? You don't want to be out here without money. You got all these designer bags, but you have no money. You have no money. That's scary to me. Money loves me. Money's attracted to me. Start saying some affirmations. Okay, back to the homework. Do some research on traditional Roth IRA. Okay? Do your very best to open up with a brokerage, which I told you, Vanguard, Fidelity, Charles Schwab. Try to find you a brokerage to invest with. Put some money into your account. $5 here, $5 there. You know, if you in the big leagues, go ahead and max it out to $7 grand. Okay? And you do this every single year. So every year, friends, I'm taking $7,000 and putting it into my investment account for retirement. $7,000 investment account. That money, I don't even think about it. It hurts, but I know my goals and I know how I want to live as I continue to age in this lifetime. So back to your homework. Do your very best to try to put some money into your account and make an investment. Okay? You will thank yourself later. All right? So friends, I will see you all in the next video. If you made it this far, do me a favor and give me a heart down below, and I will see you all in the next video.